Justin finally broke his silence, and the shockwaves are hitting Blake Lively harder than anyone expected. For months, she relied on a massive PR machine to control the narrative, but that wall just came crashing down. Justin's side didn't just respond. They strategically dismantled the image Blake spent years building. The look on her face when she realized the narrative was no longer in her hands said everything. This wasn't just a statement, it was a total reclamation of the truth that has left her team scrambling in the dark. The silence from her camp is now deafening because they no longer have a pre-written answer for the reality being exposed. Blake honestly believed she could just walk onto the Met Gala carpet, flash $1 million smile, and make everyone forget the Justin Baldoni disaster. She stood beside legends like Anne Hathaway, hoping the glamour would act as a shield against the internet's growing anger. But the digital age doesn't play by old Hollywood rules anymore. While traditional magazines are still busy polishing her image and calling her brave, the rest of the world is seeing something entirely different. The cracks are forming everywhere, and insiders say the reality of her crumbling reputation is finally hitting home. People were absolutely furious when they first read the settlement statement, claiming Blake Lively deserves to be heard. It felt like a slap in the face to everyone who had been watching the evidence pile up against her. But now, the real reason Justin's team agreed to that specific wording has finally surfaced. It wasn't about validating Blake's accusations at all. It was a strategic trade-off. By including that line, Justin secured the freedom to eventually discuss his own experience without being silenced by an agreement. He played the long game while she was focused on the immediate headline. According to sources close to the production, this agreement was never just about protecting Blake's feelings or her brand. It was about ensuring Justin had a clear path to tell his side of the story when the timing was right. If you've seen Brian Friedman speaking publicly lately, you can tell the confidence in Justin's camp is at an all-time high. They aren't hiding anymore. While Blake's side has gone almost entirely silent, Justin's team is everywhere, talking to creators and appearing on major shows. The power dynamic has shifted so fast that it has left the entire industry reeling today. Where are Blake's high-powered lawyers now? At the start of this controversy, they were everywhere, giving interviews and acting like they were leading a massive cultural movement. They tried to frame Blake as a symbol of workplace safety and a champion for women in Hollywood. It was a grand, expensive strategy designed to make her untouchable, but as soon as the receipts, footage, and leaked emails started appearing, that confidence vanished. Now, the same people who were shouting from the rooftops have retreated into the shadows, hoping the internet simply has a short memory for scandal. The biggest mistake Blake and Ryan Reynolds made was assuming they could still shape public opinion the old-fashioned way. They thought they could feed a narrative to a few major publications, secure some supportive headlines, and expect the public to fall in line without question. But TikTok and YouTube changed the game forever. Ordinary people started comparing timelines, reading court filings, and spotting inconsistencies that traditional media refused to touch. Social media users became investigators, and they found holes in Blake's story that her PR team simply couldn't patch up in time. Insiders are now reporting that Justin's friends are still incredibly nervous, and it's because they don't trust the Reynolds Lively machine at all. There is a deep-seated belief that Ryan especially always has a hidden strategy prepared. They think every agreement, no matter how simple it looks, carries some kind of trap or hidden plan attached to it. When you look back at the infamous return to work list Blake pushed during production, you can see why they're paranoid. What appeared to be a harmless list of boundaries later became ammunition used to support her narrative during the lawsuit. The level of calculation behind the scenes is allegedly staggering. Sources say Blake framed certain agreements in ways that would later look like she was being victimized once the conflict exploded. It was a long-term play for sympathy that almost worked. Meanwhile, online audiences are still dissecting every single public appearance and interview. Every word she speaks is being analyzed for hidden meanings. Justin's side is reportedly worried that the new settlement language could be twisted against him years down the line, which is why his inner circle is staying so vigilant right now. Justin himself apparently believes that the truth will eventually win out, but his inner circle thinks he still trusts people way too easily. They see a shark-infested industry while he sees a chance for reconciliation. On the other side, Ryan Reynolds is continuing to act completely unbothered online. Right after the most recent news broke, he posted another cute, curated selfie with Blake. It's classic image management. One second he's promoting his football club, and the next he's showing off his perfect marriage to distract from the legal and professional chaos happening in the background. People are starting to call out Ryan for involving himself far too deeply in Blake's behind-the-scenes battles. He's no longer just the supportive husband, he's seen as the architect of her defense. This shift in perception is dangerous for his own brand, which has been carefully built on being the most likable guy in the world. The internet is questioning why a major movie star is spending so much energy managing his wife's workplace disputes. It feels less like love and more like a high-stakes corporate strategy session where failure is not an option for either of their careers. The photo of Anne Hathaway standing beside Blake at the Met Gala sent the internet into a tailspin. Everyone wanted to know why someone as respected as Anne would publicly align herself with Blake during such a controversial time. But Hollywood is a strange place where public smiles often mask private distancing. Anne has dealt with her own massive public backlash in the past, so she knows exactly how it feels to be the internet's villain. Watching her stand there while the world tore Blake's case apart was a fascinating moment of celebrity solidarity that felt deeply uncomfortable to viewers. There is a very noticeable shift happening in how the media talks about this case. Even outlets that were originally 100% on Blake's side are starting to change their tone significantly. Earlier coverage was filled with emotional language and serious accusations, but now the wording is getting much softer and more neutral. They're using phrases like harassment claims instead of the heavy accusations they threw around months ago. This caution is a direct result of the media seeing how dramatically public opinion flipped against her. They don't want to be on the wrong side of history. Blake and Ryan likely saw the Met Gala as their ultimate reset button. They thought expensive outfits and a seat near Anna Wintour would be enough to make the public forget everything about the Baldoni drama. But instead of a reset, it triggered a deeper investigation. Once people stop focusing on the celebrity status and start looking at the actual behavior, the atmosphere changes instantly. The funniest part is how some magazines are still trying so hard to push the fearless Blake narrative. People magazine literally called her strong and confident, while the internet was busy analyzing her. Every facial expression Blake made on that carpet was analyzed by body language experts and casual viewers alike. The PR strategy was almost too obvious to ignore. She tried to use a soft voice in interviews, acting shy and talking about how much she loves having her children with her. It was a pivot toward a delicate, humble image that felt completely manufactured to anyone who had followed her for years. People weren't buying the act because it was such a sharp departure from the powerful, assertive persona she was projecting just a few months earlier when the fight first began. Anna Wintour placing Blake at her personal table raised a lot of eyebrows and sparked even more rumors online. Many people genuinely believe Blake wasn't even on the original guest list and had to use her most powerful connections to secure a spot. When reports surfaced that she was personally invited by Vogue and seated near the queen of fashion herself, it only made people wonder about the depth of their influence. Despite all the controversy, it seems the elite circles of Hollywood are still willing to form a protective wall around the couple, even if the general public has checked out. While some outlets were playing nice, the New York Post absolutely dragged Blake after her appearance. They argued that her showing up was essentially shameless, considering the damage that has been done to so many reputations throughout this process. That article captured exactly what a massive portion of the internet has been saying for months. There is a feeling that Blake weaponized serious social issues when it suited her, but then acted like none of it mattered once she wanted her old life back. It's that perceived hypocrisy that is fueling the fire more than anything else right now. The internet won't let those older interviews die, and for good reason. The clip where Blake responded awkwardly to questions about domestic violence has become a permanent stain on her image. Viewers felt she sounded dismissive and sarcastic while discussing the central theme of her own movie. It wasn't just a bad moment, it was a window into how she allegedly viewed the subject matter. Brands have started to notice the toxicity too. Newly unsealed messages show that companies connected to her businesses, like abuzz, are getting extremely nervous about the long-term fallout. Retailers are reportedly monitoring customer reactions with a level of scrutiny that should terrify Blake's business team. One executive admitted that negative press was damaging confidence in her brands, leading to some partnership discussions being paused entirely. This is where the situation moves from internet gossip to a serious financial threat. When your public image starts costing you millions in shelf space and brand deals, you can't just smile your way out of it. Her legal strategy of being the aggressor seems to have backfired in the most expensive and public way possible. In a wild twist, it turns out Blake's own legal team submitted communications that actually hurt their own case. They were trying to prove that Justin Baldoni was running a smear campaign against her, but the evidence suggested something else entirely. Critics argued that the backlash wasn't coming from Justin's camp, but from Blake's own public behavior and contradictions. Every new document that gets released seems to create 10 more questions that her team can't answer. It's a spectacular example of a legal strategy blowing up in the faces of the people who originally designed it. Then there's the mystery of the deleted daisies. Reports claiming that Blake requested certain footage be removed from the final project sent the internet into a frenzy of speculation. While she denied making the request, later emails allegedly surfaced that told a very different story. From a public perception standpoint, the timing couldn't have been worse for her. People immediately interpreted it as someone trying to erase evidence that challenged her version of events. Whether it was legally relevant or not, it looked like a cover-up, and in the court of public opinion, that is a death sentence. While Blake's image is sinking, Justin Baldoni's reputation is slowly moving in the opposite direction. Early on, people were cautious because the accusations against him were so heavy, but as more documents and footage surfaced, the sympathy started leaning toward him. He stayed quiet while a massive media machine tried to crush him, and that restraint earned him a lot of respect from viewers. Now, there is an obsession with what he will do next. People are waiting for the moment he finally sits down for a tell-all interview to explain exactly what happened during those months of silence. The rumors about Taylor Swift distancing herself from Blake are perhaps the most damaging of all. Blake allegedly believes she can repair the friendship and is even telling people she expects to attend Taylor's future wedding, but many believe the damage is done. Taylor's brand is built on loyalty and a very specific public image, and being dragged into a messy legal battle with subpoena rumors is not something she takes lightly. If the biggest pop star in the world continues to keep her distance, it will be the ultimate signal that Blake's time as a Hollywood darling is officially over. This entire saga is a masterclass in how quickly a celebrity image can collapse when authenticity is replaced by calculation. Blake and Ryan built a kingdom on being relatable and charming, but they underestimated the power of an audience that can see through PR scripts. The Met Gala wasn't a comeback, it was a reminder of the divide between elite celebrity culture and the real world. As Justin prepares to finally tell his full story, the world is watching to see if Blake can ever truly recover. Some bridges aren't just burned, they are completely dismantled by the truth.